The movie you're making me watch today is 1999's Magnolia. I'm not gonna do it like that. We're gonna start over.
I liked it.
The movie you're making me watch today is Jake's choice, Paul Thomas Anderson's 1999 3-hour classic Magnolia. What do you have to say in one word, Jake?
Damn, dude, this one was hard to find a word for. I'll just say that. So I'm gonna go with something easy, and I'm just gonna go with epic.
Okay.
That was gonna be Schwartz's word. I just saw him react. I'm gonna change it. You want epic? Yeah, I can bump you epic. It's all good.
No, it's fine.
Bump epic, dude.
I can bump you up. I'll toss you an epic. It's all good.
Cool.
Throw him an epic, dude.
Dude,
No,
you can
it's
have
good.
epic. I'll go with opus. Let's go with that one.
Schwartz has no other word.
That was gonna be Schwartz's next word. All right, me and Schwartz would like to contribute epic and opus as a team. Schwartz,
Yes.
cool?
Yes,
Cool?
I'll take that.
Great.
You stole both my words.
Fuck yeah. All right, epic and opus. What do you got, Anthony?
Complicated.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I also had epic and opus, so I had to change.
Yeah, I had a few other
This was
wacky
a
ones.
complicated movie. It was a roller coaster of a film. A lot of things going on. A lot of random things going on. A lot of things you would say, that didn't really fit in here, but whatever, going on. Jake, how about you?
It all fits, dude. I mapped it out. I figured it
I bet
out.
it does.
I
If
did.
it doesn't fit, you just shove it in, dude.
Yeah. It took me a few tries, dude. I got like there's like 4 maps on here. I'm like, maybe this one.
Overkill.
No, that doesn't work. Then I had a theory that Jim, the John C. Reilly character, was the main character, and I try to go off of him completely.
Oh, who's the main character? Well, it's Claudia.
It's just
I agree.
it's the show. The TV show is the main character. Jimmy or Earl, I would say, could arguably be the main characters because they're the closest tied to the
No, I
show.
just said it. It's Claudia.
Claudia.
Claudia. I
How
agree.
is it
It's
Claudia? You think it's Claudia?
It's 100%
Yeah.
Claudia.
Why?
Because I read that was the first character written and everything else was stemmed off of her.
Oh, okay.
So take all those pages that you just wrote and burn them.
It doesn't feel like Claudia because Claudia only has like 2 jumping off points. She's connected to Jimmy through the show, and then Claudia went to Jim, the cop, and then from Jim that branches off to many things like Donnie, and then Jim also ran into the kid, and the kid saved Linda, essentially called the cops.
I get all that,
The kid
but
is my
the
favorite
movie
character.
started off of a lyric by Amy Mann.
True.
The lyric is a line in the movie, which is she says to John C. Reilly, which is
Don't stop me now.
now that you've met me, would you object to never seeing me again? And that's how the script started.
Okay. I thought it was don't stop me now.
No, you're
Don't
wrong.
stop believing.
No.
All right.
This
Well-
is actually happening, or whatever the painting says.
Should I describe the movie? Is this
Yeah,
movie even
go ahead.
describable?
Yeah, how would you describe this movie?
An
Here
epic
we go.
mosaic of uninter. Never mind. I was trying to read the IMDb description, but it's already too.
Well, is this just a regular day in the San Fernando Valley, or is this a crazy? I guess it ends in a crazy way, but this is essentially a day in the San Fernando Valley of a bunch of interconnected people, and the movie really leans heavy on the idea of coincidence and synchronicity and things like that. The middle ground I thought was about this TV show called The Kids, or What Do Kids Know? Is that what it is? What Do Kids Know?
Yeah, you're not
Something
wrong.
like that.
Just you're not wrong on whatever you think the main character is.
Yeah, well, I mean, it all branches off from the show because from the show you get Jimmy Gator, the host, and he's got this whole cancer story going on, and he's wasted at work.
Cancer,
And then you got
pedophile.
Yes, could be a pedophile. That was never answered. With
No,
his daughter.
He did bad things to his daughter. She's fucked up, and that's why.
I feel like he touched his daughter.
Definitely.
Probably. She seems pretty fucking
Did they
damaged,
come out
so-
and say it? No.
No, because he
But I feel
didn't
like he
know. He didn't remember. You would think he
Why
would.
didn't he remember?
No, you didn't. You think you would know you didn't.
Why
right?
didn't he remember? Oh, that's what
I
his
don't
wife
know.
was saying. That's what she was
Because he's a
saying.
fucking liar. He's a fucking liar.
Because he touched her. Not funny.
All right.
Not
So
funny.
we're diverting from the plot, but yes, Claudia
That's part of the
is a
plot.
big part of the plot. Yes, perhaps molested by her father, Jimmy Gator, the host of What Do Kids Know? And from there, she knows this guy, that she meets this police officer named Jim, played by the great and powerful John C. Reilly.
Oh, he's so good.
And going back to the show, you also have Stanley, this young kid who is right now in position where he can break the record for most consecutive days won on this show.
Hold on, before we
was
go any further, the show is
MCDSW?
like a quiz show. The show is like a quiz show where kids compete against adults in like answering questions, just so you get that clear.
Yes. Kids, what do kids know?
What do kids know?
In the previous winner, or the previous longest running winner was William H. Macy's character, Donnie, who
some could say is pointless character, or
the main character. You never know. They're all very equal in screen time and parts. But so yeah, that show is going on. There's this other side story with Earl. He's this dying guy who was the producer of this kid show back in the day. And he has an estranged son who is played by Tom Cruise. And he's like this crazy, like motivational, chauvinistic dude who's all about the cock and taming the cunt and all this stuff. And he's a wild guy.
Jeez, Jake.
I'm just quoting the movie.
Yeah, that's not going to get pulled out of context.
It's fine. Sorry for the 13 listeners that we have.
I'm gonna make just a soundboard of Jake saying "tame the cunt, tame the cunt."
There was another episode where I said cunt a lot, and I know
painting behind.
You guys got all worked up on my use of cunt. If this was England, we'd be okay.
Yeah, but not.
This is America, the land of censorship.
I'm gonna bleep out every time you say the C word.
Fine. What are you watching?
Just watching TV?
What are you just watching TV?
Go ahead.
Not even denying the fact that you're just watching TV.
Go ahead.
Earl. So Earl is dying. He's also other than the estranged son, he's also got this wife who is played by Jillian. What's her name?
Julianne Moore.
Jillian Moore. Thank you. Julianne Moore. And she tries to kill herself in the movie. And the kid, there's a kid that saves her. Yeah, she tries to kill herself in the car. She takes all those medicines, all the pills, and she tries to say she doesn't want Earl's money anymore because she's been fucking around and she feels bad and guilty in the final hours. And you also got Phil, the nurse who's taking care of Earl, who's played by the great Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he works hard to get Frank connected back to Earl. And those are all big emotional scenes.
Big emotional scenes. This is a big emotional movie. Half of it had the most intense soundtrack behind it.
Oh yeah.
And it just turned into a fucking musical at one point. I don't know if you noticed that.
I think they were suggesting they were all listening to the song on the radio, but there was no real showing of that. It was just cutting to them kind of singing all the same song, looking off. Did that happen twice, or was that
no?
once?
It just happened once. I didn't like it.
Okay.
If it happened twice, I wouldn't like it both times.
It was just an emotional part.
What was going on?
It was showing that they were all connected.
What was
they
going
weren't
on?
Connected. Here's the thing: they weren't connected. You think something was gonna happen, and then they were all gonna meet and car crash or something. But no.
There was car crashes.
There was a car crash.
Yeah,
because at some point, frogs fell from the sky.
I still don't get that one. I can't explain that one. Sorry, guys.
You're not supposed to get any of it. There's no explaining of it. It's just someone who got to make whatever they want, and they made whatever they wanted, and that's the beauty of it.
That's what the movie's about. Is he just made whatever he wanted?
No, the movie's about a bunch of people in the San Fernando Valley that are going through shit, but he got to make whatever he wanted. He had full artistic final cut for this movie because he made Boogie Nights, and that was an amazing movie. And they were like, "What else do you want to make?"
Yeah, they gave him full budget. They're like,
yeah,
have as much money as you want, go for it. You seem like a bright young kid. He was 20.
He was 29 years old.
No need to look.
He was 29 years old.
In the meaning
29
behind anything.
years old.
How about you?
29.
So that was it. He just did whatever he wanted. I'm gonna rank it.
I'm trying to remember how old he was though.
He was 29.
Oh, he was 29.
What does that have to do with anything?
No,
That's-
it's just impressive.
I mean, for
Fucking
this
impressive
movie's
to make-
pretty
to make-
impressive. At 29, yeah.
look at the
Well,
fucking talent he
A lot
had
of
to
talent
direct,
in it,
man.
yeah.
And just
The
the
writing.
and the vision is just
The
it's just-
pace, the
it's
fact that it all fit together in the end was pretty fucking impressive.
How did it fit together in the end? It didn't.
It
There
told a
was
cohesive
nothing-
story.
all of them
Yeah,
got
but-
affected by frogs, dude.
That was the only thing they had in common.
Dude, do I
red
need to go through the
frogs.
web? Do I need to go through the web again? I got the web.
I mean,
off the
you
show.
went through the web. Someone was on the
Okay, dude.
show. I mean,
It's all there.
at a certain point, I
all
was
there.
watching this and I was like, "This, I like it. I like this movie." And then about 2 hours later, I was over this movie. And when the frogs came, I was like, "Man, it'd be cool if something cool happened soon." And then that happened, and I was like, "That's not really what I was. That's not what I
Was that-
needed."
What were the
I was hoping something else, maybe. I don't know.
frogs cool? I don't know. That was
Twisted.
yeah.
What a twist. But I guess I don't need to look any further into it. He just kind of did whatever he wanted because he was 29.
No, he did whatever he wanted because he made Boogie Nights, and it was a fucking classic film. And they were like, "What do you want to do, bro?
So why the frogs?
Why not?"
Why though? That's my biggest question mark with the movie.
Jake, you got a fucking web of frogs?
I have no explanation for the frogs
So,
other than it was a randomly occurring event. These are a lot of randomly. It's all it's strange because it's like it's all a coincidence, but like there's that has happened, like where animals have rained from the sky due to like weird weather patterns and shit. So it's just an event that occurred.
Yeah, raining
and they
cats
were
and
affected
dogs.
by it.
It's a saying
Yeah.
for a reason.
how about when the gun falls from the sky? John C. Reilly's
That
gun.
that was a
was
little
amazing.
weird.
That was
I
amazing.
don't
He
know
got
if
his
I
gun
like that
back. That's
actually.
fine.
Because it
So
was just very
there's
like
an-
now it's daytime and here's your gun, dude.
There's an author. His name is Charles Fort, Fort, and he's like a pseudoscientist who always talked about phenomenon and things that occur in life that no one believes or would believe unless they saw it. And so Paul Thomas Anderson was reading all about this guy and was writing this script, and that's why the frogs are there.
All right.
Google it, bitch.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
There's other things about like there's ideas of like time and things repeating themselves and all that nature in there. I think too.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Like
sure.
there's like
I got
pretty
an
sure
idea about time.
I'm pretty
Cut it
sure
in
at the
half.
I'm pretty sure at the core of this, it's just about relationships between kids and their parents. I think that's what this movie's about.
I think yeah, absolutely. Because there's like I think you see a lot of the world through Stanley's eyes in a way, and he's like the innocence of the show or of the movie, and then he can
Stanley
easily
Ipkiss.
yeah he could easily become Donnie because he's basically in the path of Donnie right there as becoming that the quiz kid, but he could also go in the same route as like Frank and just be this like fucking psychopath because his dad was fucking terrible to him.
By the way, Tom Cruise's character was arguably top 3 of his performances of all time. He was the best character in this film. He was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I don't love the character, but he fucking killed it.
I'm not saying I like the character. I'm just saying he was the best character.
Oh,
It
for
kinda
sure.
sounded
This
like
is-
you were
this is
saying
some-
you
this is
liked the character.
This is one of his best
No,
works.
why do you like him? He's a fucking asshole. Like
the
the
scene, kind
scene,
of sound like
but
you said
any-
you like him a little bit.
any scene that he's in though, you're just I was just enthralled.
You were like,
by it.
I like
the
this
scene-
guy.
Yeah.
The scene between him and the reporter when she's interviewing him, the scene between him and his dad in the end, which is probably the best scene in the movie. Like that was
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
ridiculous.
powerful.
Oh no, I liked the scene where it started raining frogs.
That's a good scene. I like that scene because it fucking stops the guy from killing himself, and he deserved to die. But I like that he didn't get to die.
Yeah, what happened to him? Does he just host another game show?
He got frogged, dude.
Yeah, he got saved by the frogs. But I think his house got lit on fire. So I don't know. They didn't really answer.
It did show
They didn't
that.
wrap up the
Maybe he
Jimmy
still
Gator
dies.
segment.
Maybe Jimmy still
He
dies.
could have still died, but not by his own hand. Ooh, that could be interesting because it could loop back to that like original story in the beginning, where like it's the where the narrator's talking about the kid that jumped off the roof and was shot by his parents because he loaded the gun because he was hoping his parents would kill each other.
Yeah,
You're in the
I remember.
you're in the very beginning, but maybe it sort of ties back to that because like the weird frog stopped him from killing himself, but he still died from.
What happened to Luis Guzman during the frogs? That's what I want.
What happened to
was he
Louise
doing?
and the Frogs?
Where was Luis during the frogs? Was he driving somewhere?
I think the day was over
Out
at the
and
studio.
about without an umbrella?
Yeah, this all takes place in one day, by the way. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure
yeah.
does.
Every story just pauses while we go to the next story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's pretty
then-
seamless. It's pretty cool. It's pretty dope.
The cinematography is fucking ridiculous, and the editing's
Cinematography was
even
good.
better.
I loved
The
it.
editing's even better.
I think I liked the movie. I think I liked it. I don't know.
You liked it,
It's a great movie.
Did you fucking tell me what I like?
You
dude. Listen,
fucking
you
liked
liked it. Shut your
dude.
mouth. You liked
You
it.
don't fucking tell me what I like.
I think you know what you have mixed feelings on it. I'll let you know that you have mixed feelings on it.
You shut your fucking
I'm
mouth, Jake.
pretty sure you have
Tired
mixed
of you guys
feelings
telling
on
me what I
it.
need to do.
Listen,
Speaking of
but I
fuck,
love-
fuck was used 190 times in this movie.
Oh, okay. How many by Tom Cruise? That is.
178 of them.
It was all Tom Cruise.
I'm a Joel Tommy.
The China of
So
boxing.
Paul Thomas Anderson went on the set of Eyes Wide Shut to offer this role to Tom Cruise, and one of my favorite story. So he was on the set and he met Stanley Kubrick, who of course was a hero of his, and he's like, "Man, you're making this whole movie with this small of a crew, huh?" And Stanley Kubrick looks at him and goes, "How many people do you need?" And I thought that's amazing.
Good old Stanley.
Yeah, good old Kubrick.
So what do you have to
That's
say
fun-
about
that-
it? You
that-
said you had lots of negative things to say about it, Schwartz. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I like this movie. I think this movie is a great movie. I think Paul Thomas Anderson is the modern day Stanley Kubrick. I mean, my favorite movie of all time is There Will Be Blood, and he directed There Will Be Blood.
Bring the
I
heat,
think this
dude.
is his third best film behind There Will Be Blood and Boogie Nights, and maybe fourth behind The Master. I don't know if I like this or The Master better.
Sure.
So this is probably like my fifth time seeing this, and my only thing, like, I'm watching it this time in it to talk about it with you guys. So I say
Yeah.
the things that I wanted to talk about, besides for saying, "Oh, I love this movie. It's made by an auteur and it's Paul Thomas Anderson," is there were parts of this movie that didn't even fucking need to be in this movie. Like, I agree
Go on.
with the whole quiz kid Donnie Smith. You could have cut that whole thing out of there, and it still would have been just as good of a movie. Do I like William H. Macy?
What?
Yes. Do I think his part was great? Like the scene when he's confessing his love to, or professing his love to the bartender, great scene. But
Fucking
still,
Brad.
it kind of seemed like it didn't need to be in it. And I also think Julianne Moore's character could have been cut out of this movie, and it still would have been good too. But the negative, besides for that, the other negative things I would say is that it's pretentious as fuck. There's like the same reasons for loving this movie.
You're
are the same
pissing Jake off now. Jake's had it
Listen,
enough.
No.
Listen, hold on,
Flip a chair.
listen.
I agree to most of these things.
The same reasons to love this movie: the cinematography, the editing, the amazing acting, especially by Tom Cruise. Like, this is one of his best performances, if not his best performance. Besides for Tropic Thunder, Interview with the Vampire, and Born on the 4th of July. Those are his best performances. Those are Tom Cruise's best performances in this movie. But at the same time, it's like, who gives a shit about any of these people? Like, why are you supposed to care about anything these people are going through? Like, not one of these people are really likable. Like, I don't think I like any of these people. But at the same time, that's not a break it for me, because I like movies where you don't like the people. Like my favorite movie is There Will Be Blood, and Paul Thomas Anderson wrote one of the most dislikable characters of all time, but I was enthralled by it. I think that this movie could be an hour shorter and it would be just as good of a movie, if not better. And I also think, like I said before, it's like forcing you to watch something that someone else loves so much, but there's no reason for it. Like, there's no reason to like or want to
It's like
follow
this
any of
whole
these characters.
podcast.
Yes, yeah, it's like being friends with Anthony Islami. You don't know why, you know you shouldn't, but it's like, all right. Anyway,
Well,
that's what I have to say about it.
I don't know, man. I mean, I see some of your points, sure, but like, I don't think anything needed to be cut out. I know you guys love to like remove half hours of movies, but this was a
Solid
movie
hour.
like that was
Solid
really good.
hour,
Like,
hour 20.
Solid. Wow, hour 20. This should be a 90 minutes just cut in half, like half. Because the kid show is, like I said earlier, I think that is what brings it all together. That intersects everything.
Yeah.
But
The
it's
kid
just-
show's cool. The kid show's cool. William H. Macy, not important though. He doesn't tie anything together. All he wants to do is tie Brad's underwear to his bedpost, and then probably to his hands after that.
With them braces.
And then work them braces. I love that he had to get oral corrective surgery at the end anyway, because
his teeth were fucked up.
See, it all worked out.
Best part.
Weird out in this random ass world that we live in. It's life, man.
I just watched Burn Without Reading or Burn After Reading. At the end, she gets her plastic surgery. It's great.
Yeah. I love that movie for that shit.
And see, that's the thing about this movie where it's like, having said that, like, why should we care about any of these people? At the same time, I mean, the first 4 times I saw this movie, it's probably the 5th time, I'm still engaged.
You've seen this
like,
movie
I'm still,
times.
I know what's coming. But I'm still like, oh, I can't wait for this part. Like, it's the writing. It's the writing. He's a great writer. He writes like he's the closest thing to Tarantino when it comes to dialogue. You know what I mean? Like, Tarantino's dialogue may be a little more flashy, but Paul Thomas Anderson's is just as good. Like, it's just as fucking good.
For sure. And I think a lot of it falls on the editing too, because like the pacing is fucking great.
And like, that's what I mean. Like,
it's ramping up the entire movie. It's like that's what keeps you so engaged. Like it's this like it has this energy to it.
It's got an energy. The editing's got an energy. Unique energy, for sure.
Yeah.
And the camera movements.
It seems like I wonder how much he shoots to then have what he has. I wonder if he shoots.
I don't know, man.
Or if he just fucking knows exactly what he wants. Because sometimes it seems like he's Wes Anderson-y in that his shots are so perfectly placed and perfectly perfectly symmetric. Yeah. And then sometimes it's just like he's running around, with it like this. He's just following him, looking for his gun. There was a lot of different, which I liked. I liked it. I like the camera move. I like the cinematography a lot. I thought it was great. Yeah. It was very eclectic.
All his movies have great cinematography. Like they're even like starting with Boogie Nights, like insane cinematography. I mean, and Robert Elswit, the DP, the guy who DPs all his movies, he won an Oscar for There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, and those shots too. Like I wouldn't think he would do a lot. I think he is very planned out because a lot of them are really long one takes. Yeah. A lot of big oneers. So you got to have a lot of rehearsal. You got to have a lot of precision to those. Yeah. Like sometimes it might just be a one shot of a person doing a monologue or whatever. But other times, like there was the part where I love the scene where they enter the studio. It's like Stanley and his dad enter the studio. And they're like following them in different rooms. And as one person leaves one room, the other person, the camera starts going with them and trails that and picks up these other people here and there. And that's, I don't know how many minutes it was, but it was this really long.
It was a 45-minute scene.
At least 45 minutes of them just walking around the studio.
45-minute wonder, and they shot it on film.
It's life, dude. It's like our day at work. We're just aimlessly wandering around sets and shit. They do a camera movement that's fucking a full day in real time. And this movie's only 3 hours long. It's great.
So you think this is real? Do you think this is basic shit, or you think these are like however many super unique stories? I don't know. Maybe this seems average Burbank.
Right. It's weird because it seems like crazy dramatic life shit's going on.
Seems like something Drew Liner could definitely be one of these characters. Which one would he be? He'd be fucking
Jim the cop.
Yeah, Jim.
yeah, 1,000%. He'd be the cop.
Yeah.
I love how he asked her out too. That was, I mean, I don't know, whatever. I don't love it. Was just
so unprofessional.
So weird. So, because she's just tweaking and he's fucking, hey, you want to go out with me? And that was actually pretty good. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, okay.
Tonight? Are we doing it tonight?
Weird.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just two people who are like, just like hate themselves, really. Two people who hate their life, hate themselves, hate what they are, and they kind of found each other.
He loves his life. He loves being a cop.
No, he doesn't. He hates himself. He hates being a cop. He hates fucking everything about that, dude. Yeah, there's no way he likes it. And she hates her life too.
She should probably, he was
an interesting character because he was very self-conscious, but he was also like self-aware, but he tried to he was always amping himself up. Like he kept using those words of affirmations, and he kept practicing what he was doing.
In
Like
the
he was
end, he was a
trying
good
really
guy.
hard.
In
But
the
he was
end,
still
I
very
liked him.
self-conscious.
The whole
Yeah.
time, I was
For
like,
sure, yeah. He was probably the best character of the movie.
Either
Best guy, at
he's
least.
not good. I don't know. We're gonna find out something about him, or he's gonna kill this woman. Like he's just
Right.
gonna accidentally shoot her, which he then couldn't do because he didn't have a gun.
I
No, it turned out a
think-
lot more boring than that, but it made me like him.
I think in this movie, I think Tom Cruise's character was the most interesting, but second is John C. Reilly's character, just because usually when you see a cop in a movie, it's someone who's very proud and brooding and sure of themselves, and even if they don't like what they do in a way, they act like they do. And this guy's just like, this reminded me of like Davidson if he was a cop.
Yeah, he seemed very authentic. Like there was a lot of very authentic characters. Like some of them were kind of wild, like Tom Cruise's character. I don't know, but some characters seemed very.
That was
very
a great
authentic.
character, man.
It was a good character, but like the person, if that was a real person, to be like, fuck that guy. Another good one was Phil, the character, the nurse played by Philip Seymour Hoffman.
He was great.
That was another one. He killed the dude and the dog. Did you realize that?
He killed the dog by accident.
The dog
he ate a pill.
Yeah, he ate some of the pills. He spilled the pills when the dude
and the dog
he
ate the pill.
freaking out. Yeah. The dog ate up some of the pills when they were on the ground.
Right. No, at the end I was like, man, did the dog die?
Did Tom Cruise drop kick the dog like you said he was going?
Well, I thought he got frogged to death or something.
No, he ate the pill. When Philip Seymour Hoffman spills the pills, you see him eat it.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. I'm still going with he died of trauma from frog.
That works.
Head trauma.
It was definitely he ate like 3 pills.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He probably shouldn't have.
Dogs are strong as fuck, except for when it comes for frogs falling from the sky.
Could have been a combo of the pills made him weak, and then you got a frog to the back of the head. The dogs were inside during the frog attack, if we want to call it a frog attack.
Not the one that
frog
died.
Storm. All right. We didn't see what happened.
Yeah, how
to
do we
be
know?
fair, so
We'll
leave it up. We'll leave it up to
so
chance.
Sure?
Up to our own imagination.
Everybody's
Like we don't know
so
what happened
sure.
to Jimmy. We don't know what
Dog
happened to a lot of
overdose.
people.
Maybe the dog was chilling. Maybe the dog was having a good time, feeling those pills, and then boom, frog to the dome.
You know what I like about this movie is that, like you said, it doesn't really answer all your questions. Like it shows a lot of things, but it doesn't answer it because it's not supposed to. It's supposed to just show you a day with these people. Like you're not supposed to know why, you're not supposed to know how. It's just this is what you're seeing, and then it's gonna end. And I like that. I think that's interesting.
Dude, it's life in the valley, baby.
San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, we've all been here. We've all been through all that shit. Pretty much everything that's happened in that movie, we've all done.
Yeah, especially when it turned into a musical and when the frogs fell from the sky.
I'm sure at one point we've all been listening to the same song at the same time, singing it at the same time.
Nope. You know how many fucking
happened.
songs there are in the world? I'm thinking of a song right now. I'll give you $4 billion if you.
All right, let's bring it back to 1999 when we used to listen to radio on a fairly often basis. I bet at some point in 1999, the three of us were listening to some bullshit on like some alternative rock station. We were all looking up at the moon together, singing the same tune.
Probably more
no,
like
we were all living in wildly different
more
places.
like
it was like Limp Bizkit.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude. We were listening to fucking
Limp Bizkit, Korn,
dude.
little Metallica.
I did listen to Korn, a lot of Metallica.
Yeah,
freak on a leash, baby. I was a freak on a leash, dude.
You are a freak on a leash. This movie was a freak on a leash. This movie was a hot mess.
This is good for 99.
It was great.
What do you mean? There was a lot of great movies made in 99.
There was a lot of great
name
movies in 99.
6 other than The Matrix.
Fight Club, The Matrix. I was going to say Fight Club, The Matrix.
American Beauty is another one.
Jackie Brown.
That was 97.
Oh yeah, that was 97. You're right, my bad. American Beauty. Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
You're good
was
with
Fight Club 99?
Good with
Fight Club was 99. No.
Okay.
That was 97.
It's 97, idiot.
Yeah.
No, you said it like this. That was 97.
Technically.
Yeah. This guy knows years of movies, thinks he's cool.
He is cool.
Stuff.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Also the year of WrestleMania 15.
Third.
The Rock for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Random wrestling.
No wrestling talk during the Magnolia show.
All right, dude. You brought it up. You brought him 99.
No, yeah. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's third movie, which is pretty impressive.
And it's your third favorite movie of his?
There Will Be Blood, obviously number 1. Boogie
Yeah.
Nights definitely number 2, and it's
Yeah.
between this and The Master for number 3.
Yeah, I agree with you on those. It's hard to choose between this and The Mask. Probably this, but it's hot. It's a tough one.
I think I'm leaning a little bit towards The Master just because I think Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman's characters are more interesting and better roles than anybody in this movie. Maybe besides Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's a tough one. It's a tough call there.
And I'd put Punch Drunk Love at 4 for sure.
Punch Drunk Love is right there with them. Yep.
Yeah.
You say There Will Be Blood, Boogie Nights?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen Boogie Nights like from beginning to end.
That's a great film. That Boogie Nights is the most. Boogie Nights and this movie are comparable in that they all have a bunch of characters and it takes place in like the valley. That's the comparable to it.
Punch
Difference is
Drunk Love
Boogie Nights was 1970s.
So does Pulp Fiction.
It's true. A lot of good Valley movies.
GVMs, baby.
Well, you gotta love it here in the San Fernando Valley. It's worth 2/3 of this podcast. Actually, no, only 1/3 of this podcast currently is being brought to you from the San Fernando Valley.
Who cares?
Which is in an undisclosed location in a tropical paradise.
So yeah, a little too long. I'd rather watch There Will Be Blood. So next time, let's watch There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, for sure. I thought you've seen There Will Be Blood in Boogie Nights, so that's why that's why I chose this one for a PTA, because I know you did not. Yeah, and you've seen Boogie Nights, right, for the most part.
I think I have.
Well, if you haven't, you should watch it.
Yeah, I would have gone with that if that was the case, but I'm happy we watched this as well. But yeah, Boogie Nights is fantastic.
I'm not upset we watched this. I like
Boogie Nights. Fantastic. This is a fucking great movie. I love this movie.
I'm glad Anthony watched this movie, because if we didn't watch this movie on this, there's no way he would watch this movie.
Yeah, I was curious how you were gonna feel about this one, and I think I was right. Mixed feelings.
It's okay.
You're impressed, but you didn't really. It's one of those. I think I've worded it as in though I appreciate it but didn't enjoy it. It's one of those movies in a way.
I appreciate it. I didn't enjoy it.
Wait, what? You didn't enjoy this movie?
No. That's not how I feel about this movie, but other movies we've watched, like for example, Once Upon a Time in the West. Like I didn't really enjoy watching that necessarily, but I really appreciate the movie for what it was.
Oh, all right.
I enjoyed parts of this movie. A lot of parts of this movie. Would I watch it again? Not anytime soon.
But see, I can respect that because there's so much to this movie, and this movie's so over the top dramatic with what people are doing that they're really
over the top.
The reason why I've watched this movie 5 times is just because I love Paul Thomas Anderson movies, and I just respect the fuck out of him. So I mean, that's why I've watched this movie 5 times.
I have no idea how many times I've seen this movie. I've seen it many, many a times, and I actually saw it twice in the last 3 days. Because I kind of was like, I watched it somewhat disjointed the first time around because I kept getting distracted, so I watched it in pieces, and then I rewatched it all this morning, and I've probably seen this movie at least a dozen times. It's fucking great. I love Paul Thomas Anderson, and I love a long movie that has like a good frantic pace like this, like a lot of
frantic's like, a good word.
There Will Be Blood, or not? I'm sorry. Well, There Will Be Blood is a good example, but Wolf of Wall Street's another good example of like a really long 3-hour movie that I can just like sit and enjoy, and the whole way through.
I was lost in a few parts of this movie. Let me think of examples.
What do you mean lost? Like you didn't realize why I was there, or you just didn't remember what happened?
I was lost for half the movie. I didn't know what the fuck was going on for half the movie. Not that I didn't know what was going on. I just was like, where is this going? How could this be? And it took me like 2.5 times or 1.5 times watching it. And then having Jillian watch it and be like, is this fucking her? And is Frank Tom Cruise? And then
did Jillian enjoy it?
Is this good?
Jillian liked it. I think she also doesn't know what to think about. She's got to simmer on it a little bit.
Yeah.
We liked it. It was good. It's undeniably good. Cinematography was great. Man, it was just it was a task.
Yeah, you
had to get through it.
I'll
watch it in the future. I'll watch it 10 years from now and be like, I remember that.
Yeah.
You know why I like watching it currently more often? It's like it feels almost like an ensemble television show. Like the pacing of it and how it's like jumping around to a lot of different plots. It's almost like The Sopranos or The Wire, like somewhere on those ends of like just a big, lot of characters going on. So it just has that fast pace. It's almost like binge watching, like just sitting and watching a few episodes of one of those type of shows. That's what it feels like to me now.
So there's a director I'm sure you've heard of. His name is Robert Altman, and he's dead now, but he's like one of Paul Thomas Anderson's biggest influences.
R.I.P.
He makes movies with these big casts and these big like epic pieces, and particularly there's a movie called Shortcuts. It's based off a book by Raymond Carver, and the book is about different stories of people in a small town. So this movie is almost like an homage to that movie in a way. It's just Paul Thomas Anderson's version of that movie.
Cappy, you. I think I've seen Shortcuts. I think
It's like a mid '90s movie, I think, or maybe mid '80s.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, I always enjoy Shortcuts. Okay. I always enjoy a movie like this that has a lot of different intersecting plots.
Me too.
Just like a big picture kind of idea.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've done too many of those on this show, so I'm glad we hit one.
Yeah.
Godfather.
Yeah, Godfather.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like there's more like
and drawn out and a lot of characters and a lot of things.
Not as many plots, but yeah, you're right. It is very long.
Not as many plots. No, well, not as many plots in two less movies. There was more shit going on in this one movie than all three Godfathers.
They're so hard to compare because The Godfather took place over 80 years and this was a day. So it's like it's really hard to compare.
So much more going on.
There was more, obviously, because of all the time was jammed into those three movies. But yeah, so of course.
I'm not trying to compare.
It's hard. They're hard to compare. Yeah.
The only movie that I can compare this to is Boogie Nights. That's really it. Like if you're calling modern day movie, like what other modern day movies got such a big like scope of this? Like think about it, like less 20 years. Can you think of another one? You know what? I can. Cloud Atlas.
Okay, that's true.
You don't think Pulp Fiction is Pulp Fiction's got a lot going on?
Pulp Fiction's similar.
It's told differently though. It's told in chapters as opposed to like just one day. You know, I guess actually does Pulp Fiction take place in a day?
More or less.
A lot of it does. I don't really know because it does jump around with the John Travolta thing.
Well, there's not that it jumps around. It just tells it out of order. It doesn't jump around too far. It just tells that.
Yeah. The time itself is hard to figure out because I don't know how long between. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into Pulp Fiction, but other examples of the bigger
movie.
Plot. Inarritu did a few of those movies where there was but they were more like 3 or 4 plots intersecting.
Like Babel?
Like Babel, 21 Grams, and
Amos Paris.
Amos Paris, yeah. However you pronounce that.
I just found out that
knowing how to pronounce words. What'd you
Go
find out?
on.
Never mind, doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's just irrelevant. Doesn't matter. I was just going off on a tangent.
Hey, tell us later. Write it down. Tell us later. We'll definitely care later.
Seriously, mail it to me. Pulp Fiction is supposed to take place over 2 days.
2 days?
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that because when does he take out Mia Wallace in relation to the conversation and the scene in the first movie? You know what I mean?
The first movie?
Or the first scene, like him.
I think that's like the night. I think that's that night.
It's that night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
because he does have the heroin.
Yep.
And when later does he die? That's clearly after
the next
Jules
day.
left.
It's the day. It's the next day after the diner scene.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's how it is.
2 days report. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Quentin Tarantino and Paul Thomas Anderson are like really good friends. They have, if you go on YouTube, they have a bunch of like videos together where they talk about writing and talk about how like they feel like they're the only two people in their of people that make movies that are on their level. Like they're both pretty pretentious people.
They're both fucking amazing.
I've never thought of them together like that, and the movie's similarity
came up similar times.
Yep.
They both came up in the 90s.
Oh, they good. They friends.
Have you seen Hard Eights? I think it's called Hard 8.
Yeah.
E.T. Anderson's first movie. It's very much like a Tarantino movie. It's like Reservoir Dogs meets Pulp Fiction, and that same like crime world. But it's not as good.
It's not that good.
It's not that good, unfortunately. But
what I love,
it's very similar, like how he does it. Like you can see he's trying to be like the I don't know if he knew Tarantino at that time yet or whatever, but he was really like in that same vein.
I think they both came up in the same way. They're both LA dudes. They were both obsessed with movies. They both write really well. They're both trying to make movies about people doing normal things, but in like advanced ways, not advanced, like it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Like interesting way. Sure. It's like normal shit, but in interesting ways, with interesting dialogue that you don't expect. Yeah. And that's what I like about him.
That is. It's like everyday shit.
Yeah.
And even more so with Tarantino.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Tarantino. That's correct.
Yeah, because they're just about to go kill somebody and they're talking about foot massages and shit.
And
he's already got a Bible verse memorized in his head. It's that what a fucking movie.
Yeah. There's actually a Bible thing in this movie too with the frogs. I think the frogs has something to do with the Bible. And it's like 8:22 or 8:2 or something, verse 8:2, where Exodus in the movie 8:2. Supposedly there's a bunch of things that say that. You just don't pick up on it. I didn't notice it though.
Well, it's one of the signs. So one of the things that happens during the apocalypse, I think.
Maybe, or it's the plague, right? The raining frogs is like the plague.
I think so.
From Egypt or something.
I know. I think that happened.
One of those, both of those. I don't know.
Both
None of us read
one
the
of
Bible.
One of those fairy tales they put in the Bible.
None of us have read the Bible.
Keep yourself
Something to do
behaving.
with frogs, yeah. Locusts and frogs. Speaking of that, locusts are everywhere out here.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, animals can't stay alive. Animals can't stay alive in Los Angeles, so I'm good.
Do you have a favorite scene? Who's got a favorite scene?
Ooh.
I know mine. Mine's definitely when Tom Cruise is talking shit to his dad. That's the best scene. And Philip Seymour Hoffman's behind him, like crying. That was pretty powerful.
Why?
Because it's powerful. It's just fucking, like fuck. It's like this dude who has all this repressed anger and it turned him into a fucking misogynistic piece of shit. And then he gets to just take it all out on the dude who left him and his mom. I love that scene. Also, the scene when he's in the interview with the interviewer, that scene's pretty amazing too. Like that whole scene actually, where he's in the interview and then like he gets up and like kind of like goes like he's gonna attack her and then walks out into the hallway and the camera movement, how the guy's walking towards him and the camera's going this way and then he hands him the phone and the camera starts going back this way and he's walking towards us. I was just like, man, that's filmmaking, man. That's just good filmmaking.
Yeah, the camera movement fucking was so good in this movie.
And that's another thing he has in common with Tarantino is that they have such epic fucking camera movement. Like I mean, I get Robert Richardson made Tarantino's movies elevated once he started working with him, but its camera movement's ridiculous in all their movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the moves were bizarre. Even it was like weird shit.
Yeah, but they worked.
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you, Jake? What's your favorite scene?
I agree with you on that. With the Tom Cruise scene was like his monologue to his dad, essentially, like that was great. But on the flip side of that, like Jason Rhubar's scene, like him essentially doing the same thing, talking to Philip Seymour Hoffman when he was essentially like his like last dying moments. Yeah. Like he was great. It's interesting that we saw Once Upon a Time in the West a few months ago, and it was like that was like badass. Is it Rhubarb? Am I saying that right? Is that his name?
I think it's Robards.
Robards. Thank you.
Robards. Yeah.
No, that sounds
right.
JR. Robards. Yeah, JR. Yeah, so we saw him at his like most badass in like Once Upon a Time in the West, and then like now he's like this dying on his like deathbed, and he actually died in real life the next year.
Yeah, he died in the movie for real.
And they recorded it. Hard method, dude. Yeah, dude killed it. He and himself.
So had Tom Cruise come 10 minutes earlier, he could have talked to his dad.
Maybe.
Is that what
potentially
led to believe? Because
potentially. And you know what else we haven't talked about yet that I like about this movie is the narration. Most movies with narration I kind of hate. I mean, Scorsese does it really well with Goodfellas and Casino and Wolf of Wall Street, but a lot of times narration kind of just seems like it's unnecessarily there. But what I liked about this movie is that it was only there when like he felt like it needed to be instead of all the time. Like I like how the narrator was like, and in the opinion of this humble narrator, this, and I would think this. It's like
it was very
who is this guy?
sparse. It was
It
very
was.
sparse
But it was
because
good.
when you said that, I thought I don't even remember any narration.
I think it was only
It
beginning
was
and end.
Just
There
I think
was-
it was just beginning and the end, or it was just
There were
done
some
so
in the middle,
well
I
that
think.
I don't remember.
I think there were a few in the middle.
I thought it was just when they were talking about the 3 hangings and the suicide.
Yeah.
Shit.
It was the story in the beginning, and then I think like a little wrap up at the end.
Okay, well, the end one really
Yeah.
got me. I liked the end one a lot.
There was a lot of.
It was not. It was right. It wasn't at the very end. It was. But yeah, it was. It was right after the frog rain.
Yeah. What do you feel? What do you guys feel like about her looking at the camera at the end?
What was that? What was that? What was that?
Oh,
Was it
what
her
do you
looking
think
at the
about it?
camera? I thought she
You
was just
tell me,
like
Schwartz.
looking
I'm
that
telling
way.
you to tell me, Schwartz. What
I
was
don't know.
that?
I don't think about
Again,
it.
I think that's just Paul Thomas Anderson being like, "Hey, why don't you just smile at the camera? Maybe it'll work." And then it worked. I think that's what
It
it was.
didn't work.
I think it worked.
I think it worked.
It didn't work.
I think it gave
What
you a little bit of
worked?
hope. I think it gave you a little bit of hope because she looked first time in the movie where she actually was like, "Huh, maybe it's gonna be all right."
Why'd she have to look in the camera? Why couldn't she look at John C. and do it?
She didn't have to, but it's just a creative decision that worked.
Did it?
I think it did.
Hmm.
Going back a second to the narration, there was
I
the
don't think it worked.
John C. Riley kind of voiceover a little bit, kind of going throughout the movie because
He was talking to himself, right?
he was talking to himself, and then he also had that like dating tape. So they were kind of using that a little bit as like a little bit of a guiding voice
Yeah,
throughout. So I think that's a little bit what you think of too,
yeah.
which I think was like appropriate because it was part of the thing. It made sense.
This movie made me want to watch Punch Drunk Love for some reason. I don't know why.
Never
Same.
seen it.
It made me want to watch like more P.T. Anderson again. So
I mean, I've seen all his movies a
Punch
bunch of
Drunk Love.
times. I've seen all his movies a bunch of times, but it made me want to watch Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
Actually, the only movies of his I don't really care for is Hard 8. It's not that I don't care for it. It's just his movies are so fucking good that the only two that I don't think stand up are Hard 8 and Phantom Thread. I think Phantom Thread is the most boring fucking movie I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, what's that Inherent Vice?
But that was a good movie. That
It
had
was
great
good.
performances.
So fucking off. It's so confusing.
It's weird and it doesn't make any sense, but it's fun. It's like it's fun to watch. You're just like, what is happening? Like, why?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's cool.
Yeah, that one's hard to wrap your head around.
And I love
Filmmaking at its most pretentious.
yes, but see, that's the thing. Like he's always had
Yeah.
that. He's always had that. You know what I mean? That's his
I'm
thing.
not saying that is a bad thing. Let
Yeah,
him
yeah.
be.
Yeah,
Boys
No,
will play.
yeah. But you can say the same thing for Tarantino too. Like it's just he's self-indulgent. You know what I mean? Like his character in Django was the most pointless character I've seen in my life, but he still put him in himself in there.
Yeah. He is self-indulgent, but his movies are way more entertaining.
No, dude, There Will Be Blood, Boogie Nights, this movie, The Master, and Punch Drunk Love are just as entertaining as any Tarantino movie.
Yes, in the performances given.
In the writing and in the cinematography and in the scope too.
Scope, but yes.
No, yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it right here. There Will Be Blood is better than every Tarantino movie except for Pulp Fiction. Facts.
I think
Facts.
it might even be better than Pulp
Okay,
Fiction.
it might be better, but I'm saying you can compare the two in
agree.
epicness. Like Pulp Fiction and There Will Be Blood are two of the best movies ever. Not just in they're two of the best
I'm
movies
not
ever.
disagreeing with
I
that.
agree.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're yelling at me. I like Paul Thomas Anderson.
I'm not yelling. I'm just very, very, very.
Just speaking passionately.
Yes, I'm very passionate.
They're
Intimate.
good movies. I like the
I just want to
movies.
speak intimate to you.
I love
We all
the
know
movies.
There Will Be Blood's my favorite movie. Come on.
It's
Come on.
a fucking great movie. There was one of the best movies.
So
ever made.
fucking
It's
good.
hard
I was
to
reading-
deny that.
The second or third best movie ever made.
I was thinking about I was reading about like behind the scenes of this movie, and I started reading about the behind the scenes of There Will Be Blood, and I read something interesting which goes back to you saying like, do you think that he planned all this out to a T, or they kind of just went with some things? I read that on There Will Be Blood, there were certain scenes where they filmed at 3 different locations, and then at the end in editing they decided which one worked the best. And I thought that was very odd because Paul Thomas Anderson seems like the kind of guy who is, like I said, I compare him to Stanley Kubrick, who is just super like confident about what he's doing. And I thought that was kind of the thing that was like that's kind of weird, but cool.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? He just.
I
could
think he
make the
did it because
decision?
he could, and he was like if this works better here in the pacing of the edit, then we'll use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they probably.
I guess
did
if you can do it.
similar
Yeah.
to this.
That's the thing. Once you make this movie and Boogie Nights, you can make whatever you want. And the fact that he made this movie and Boogie Nights back to back, and then he made Punch Drunk Love, which I read that because Punch Drunk Love is a 90-minute movie that's just a romantic comedy, but it's told in like it's an amazing film. It's an amazing film. But I read that the only reason why Daniel Day-Lewis made There Will Be Blood is because he loved Punch Drunk Love so much. I also read that if Daniel Day-Lewis didn't agree to make There Will Be Blood, that they probably wouldn't have made it at all because Paul Thomas Anderson was like, "There's no one else who could play this role."
Imagine a world without There Will Be Blood.
What if Adam Sandler was the Daniel
world.
Plainview?
That would be crazy.
In a world where Adam Sandler plays Daniel Plainview and Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Eli.
Do you know who could have played Daniel Plainview just as good? Probably is Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It'd be an interesting take.
It would.
But
Do it.
Hoffman's amazing. Hoffman could do it.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is just as good as Daniel Day-Lewis. No argument.
Yeah, it's hard to visualize it, but he could definitely do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right after The Master.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Capote, he was amazing in Capote.
Oh,
he won an Oscar.
Patch
He won an
Adams.
Oscar for Capote.
Oh, and Patch Adams.
What's
Adams.
crazy about Philip Seymour Hoffman is that he was only the main character in like 5 of his movies. He's never the main character in the 62 movies he made. He was only the main guy in like 5 of them.
Right. Yeah.
He knew where he played best.
Yeah, he's a great character actor. He's like Christopher Walken, or who's a dude in 3 Billboards? One of for 3 Billboards. John, what's his name?
Magathea?
Yes.
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. He's in the same category as that. They're just great at playing the second character. They're so fucking good at it. Casey Affleck's pretty good at that too.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't like
Christian Bale. Surprisingly, he's really good at that too.
Do it. Christian Bale can do all.
Michael Caine.
Yeah.
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. William H. Macy.
Yeah.
And the guy from Lady in the Water.
Which way?
Main dude.
Oh, you mean Michael Shannon?
No, Lady in the Water.
Oh, Lady in the Water. Oh, you're thinking of Stanley Tucci. Not Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci's another one, but
Stanley Tucci is another one.
What was his name?
Guy,
he hasn't made a movie in a while.
Yeah,
but
because
great.
he tried to do like a couple where he was the main character.
What's his name? Fucking fuck, I gotta look it up.
Stanley Tucci.
He's another one though. He's great.
I can see why you went to Stanley Tucci, but yeah, no. What's his name?
Oh, the Tooch.
The Tooch. What's the Tooch's best role?
Stanley Tucci's best role.
I don't know why the Lovely Bones just jumped into my head.
He was fucking scary in that.
He was scary in that one. But that was not that good of a movie.
Definitely Peter Jackson's worst movie.
I tried watching that once, and I went, man, I was not ready for this movie. And
I don't have service right here. I don't know. Someone's got to look it up. What's that dude's name? He's been in so many great movies. Fuck.
Ooh, what, Gary Oldman?
No, he's great. He's another one. He can play any role too.
The number one.
Oh, for sure.
No, this guy was in Minority Report.
I think Philip Seymour Hoffman is just as good as Gary Oldman.
Oh, you know who's on the come up? That's going to be the next Philip Seymour Hoffman is fucking Jesse Plemons.
Dude, Jesse Plemons is about to be the main character in the new.
Todd. Yeah, dude.
He's about to be the main character in the new Scorsese movie.
I know. He's been killing it lately. He's just doing the same shit. He's just taking little dope parts, crushing it, working his way up. He's gonna be fucking.
Bro, you know he's only 30. You know he's only 32 years old.
Yeah,
he's only 32.
He's got time, dude. He's gonna be big.
Breaking Bad was good to him.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so good. So what's his name?
Jesse Plemons.
Paul
Giamatti. Paul Giamatti. That's it. Yeah, Paul Giamatti. 100%. He's up there too.
Oh, the lady in the water is Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yep.
Interesting. I'm gonna not watch that movie again.
That is a terrible movie.
M. Night Shyamalan.
She was also the main chick in The Village. The blind one. Yeah, she was the blind one.
All right, I like her
Real
again.
bad movie.
Oh, I love
That movie's
movie.
great, Jake. Fuck you. That's a good movie.
The Village
Lady
is
in the
so
Water?
dumb.
I love the
Lady in the
Village.
Water, though?
No,
No.
Lady in
The
the
Village
Water
was great.
It's not good.
The Village was
Village
great.
was whack.
Village is
Lady in the
No, that was a
Water,
good
not
movie.
very good.
You know who DP'd The Village? Deacons.
Okay, well, it looked great.
So
Did look great.
fuck you, Jake.
Dumb.
That's a good movie. What's so dumb about that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really cool ending. It's
Name
like
four
it's his
dumb
most
things
plausible
about that
ending.
movie.
Dude, that's his in all the movies Shyamalan has made, that's his most plausible ending. That's the only ending where you're like,
No,
that
Signs,
actually maybe
The
could happen in
Water.
real life. Yeah, the Signs. Listen, I love Signs, but that ending is not plausible. Okay, I love that movie, but that's not a plausible ending.
You don't know. How do you know
Yeah.
what? How do you
Because the
know?
Earth's atmosphere is like 80% water.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking Neil deGrasse.
Anyway, what else do we have to say
Watson
about
over
this
here.
classic movie? Let's go. What else?
Which one?
Jake, tell us about your fucking little science experiment over there. What's going on with that?
Oh, this was just like how I was trying to figure out the main character, and it just still always links back to the show. That's
So
why
explain
I think,
it.
All right,
So
so
since you guys had the other good scenes, the shows, I thought the scenes with the show was fun.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
kids and versus Luis Guzman screaming
Yeah.
at him and shit. And
Yeah.
pissing pants.
Especially when that kid pisses his
boy.
pants and he's like, I don't want to do it. And they're like, do it. And he's like, I don't want to do it. Like,
Was that fucking Will Forte yelling at him?
no, you know who that was? That was Buck from
Todd.
Kill Bill. My name is Buck and I'm here to fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh.
Yep.
Looked like
He's in a lot of random
looked
shit.
like Will Forte. The whole
He was
time
also-
I was like, is this fucking McGrew?
He was also Michael Keaton's partner in Jackie Brown.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's in a lot of fucking stuff.
Yeah.
I just
Okay,
don't remember what his
sorry
name
to
is.
interrupt you, Jake. Continue with your show.
Oh.
Yeah, continue with
No
that.
worries. Oh, okay. Here's my diagram. I wish I had a corkboard and pictures
I wish you had
and string would have been better, but I did my hands in writing. And, so the show's in the middle, and from the show you have you can go any direction here. Jimmy is a direct link to the show because he's the host, and from Jimmy you meet Claudia, who you guys say is the main character, and from Claudia we also get Jim, who could arguably be the main character, the cop. And all right, so you get that line right there.
Jim's
Jim.
John C. Riley.
Yes, Jim is John C. Riley. From Jim, you meet two different other characters outside of Claudia. You get the kid, which I don't ever know the name of, but the kid that raps, and he also calls the police after he steals money
But
from
he
Julianne
saves her
Moore.
life. Now,
He saves her life.
Listen to his rap, and does he say who did it? Like, what did
I didn't pick up on it.
I didn't
but
go back and like re-listen to it and try to
He-
decipher what he was saying.
He definitely says something about him losing his gun in there. I think like the whole like not like you're going to lose your gun, but more along the lines of like this is going to happen and it's going to affect you this way. Like I've seen this movie a couple times. And I remember one of the times I was like, I should dive more into what this kid's saying, and I do remember that being one of the
And
things.
that's before he loses his gun.
Yeah, but he tells him basically. He's like it's like a foreshadowing.
Oh shit!
The kid's the main character, guys. That's
The
the
little
main
kid?
character. Yeah, the little kid's the main character
I liked him.
because he eventually saves Linda, and then
I think there was characters you can get rid of, not the
Yeah.
kid.
So I think we'll loop back to Linda and Jim. You also in the end you find Donnie, who is also a direct link from the show. The show he's the longest running champion of the kid show, who currently Stanley is going after. He's close to the next in line to be the champion. So Donnie and Stanley are linked through the show. From the show, going back to the show, you also get Earl, the producer, the old dying man, and his son is Frank, which is Tom Cruise's character. I also see a link between Stanley and Frank being the son of abuse and show business. Earl, you also get Phil, and then you also get Linda. Linda was linked to the kid because the kid saved Linda. And then you get Phil, who is Earl's nurse. and then Phil contacted Frank, linked back to them. Full circle chain of events.
What about everybody at the bar?
Shows right in the middle. The bar?
Yeah, the bar William H. Macy goes to. Telling me Brad, the bartender, has nothing to do with this movie?
Well, I guess he
has braces.
He would be linked through Donnie, but I don't really see him as a main character. We never followed Brad anywhere. He was just kind of like...
Why not? That's my question.
Oh, I don't know why we didn't follow. Because I guess...
Because he was too busy with that old guy.
They were too busy fucking, and they want to show that old dude.
Can you imagine reading the script to this movie, being like a studio executive? They're probably like, "Wait, what?"
they just bring in a stone guy like me, and they're like, "All right, show him the thing," and I'll be like, "Boom, this is what happens. This is the movie."
But this is the thing.
Like, oh shit, that's dope.
He has
and
braces.
Like, yeah.
And
I'll be like,
the
it's
thing.
about life. I wrote down here life in my
This
notes.
is the thing. That's how like making a movie that's really good, like Boogie Nights, and having it be so commercially successful and having it have such good dialogue and getting performances out of people like Burt Reynolds and Mark Wahlberg, who you didn't think could act that well. Like being able to do that, and especially since he was 26 when he made that, they were just like, "Hey, what do you want to do, man? Whatever it is, you can do it." And then he got to make hits. Like, there's not many directors or writers that can say that. You know what I mean? Like Stanley Kubrick, Quentin Tarantino, Paul Thomas Anderson, Martin Scorsese. But Martin Scorsese is different because he doesn't write. Martin Scorsese doesn't write. So it's different.
He's also a billion years old.
Yes, it's true. So
Scorsese's probably written some of his movies, right?
Scorsese has screenplay credit on Goodfellas and Casino.
Okay. Those are dope.
Because there's a couple times he goes, "Nah, he wouldn't say it like that. He'd say
exactly.
it like this."
Exactly.
Oh, okay. All right.
Exactly.
Give me them royalties.
Really just like Terrence Winter writing a bunch of dope shit.
It was the name the writers the Casino and Goodfellas are both based off of books that is written by the co screenwriter of those movies.
Okay.
I forget his name.
Did Terrence Winter didn't write Goodfellas? No.
No, Terrence Winter wrote Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, not Goodfellas though. Okay.
No.
Word.
No.
Didn't remember.
Yeah.
He did Sopranos stuff though.
He did Sopranos. He also did Boardwalk Empire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This
Shout
is a
out
good
to
movie,
Terrence
man.
Winter.
This is a movie that if you're a fan of movies, you have to watch. Like, you have to watch it again? No. Do you have to like it? No, but you have to watch it.
Bro, watch this shit like 9 times. You'll understand what it's all about.
I'll watch it again. I'll watch it again eventually.
Yeah.
Save it for like save it for like a plane ride or something.
Yeah.
I'm more of a John Wick type of plane ride guy.
All right. Keep the action.
You need to watch Boogie Nights, Anthony, because if you don't remember that movie, you need to see it. It's amazing. It's a little better than this.
And then also Punch Drunk Love, if you haven't seen that yet, because
that's an amazing film.
It's Adam Sandler's probably best role, second best role next to the Gems.
Uncut Gems, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know who would love
Sandler could have killed it.
Bedtime stories.
Sandler could have killed it, and There Will Be Blood. Let's just be honest with it.
Yeah.
But with the right direction, Sandler could have done it.
My favorite part of the Punch Drunk Love is that Paul Thomas Anderson, the guy who writes movies like this, loves Adam Sandler. Like, that to me is the coolest thing ever.
Okay, dude.
Like, a guy who writes movies like this is like, hey man, I gotta write a movie for Adam Sandler. Like, that's so dope.
That is.
I mean,
so
I
dope.
wondered, did he
Sandler's
write it
man.
for Adam Sandler?
Yes, the movie was written for Adam Sandler. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was
Because Adam Sandler
so good
can
in that
fucking
fucking
act.
movie.
That's why.
Yeah, he can.
He's
Yeah.
super good in that movie.
You know who else? What else role was written for Adam Sandler? Was the Bear Jew in Inglourious Basterds. He turned it down to make funny people.
Huh.
Funny people, wasn't it?
Yeah, he would have been amazing as the Bear Jew.
Hilarious.
Yeah, when he's coming out with the baseball bat.
Eli Roth was great though.
He was great in it, but Adam Sandler would have been a little bit better.
It would.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Would he have ever done that?
It probably would have been a bigger character.
I mean, yeah. Quentin Tarantino's is like Paul Thomas Anderson, is that they write movies for people, and because Quentin Tarantino wrote Django for Will Smith and he turned it down like a fucking idiot.
Well, he had better things to do. He had to make Wild Wild West. Oh no, that was for The Matrix.
Yeah, he turned down The Matrix. I know. What an idiot.
God.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow, West.
Quinoa Reeves was fucking
Do you know who else turned down The Matrix? Sean Connery. He was supposed to be Morpheus.
So it could have been Sean Connery and Will Smith.
Smith. Yeah.
Whoa.
Sean
Far
Connery
out.
said, and I quote, "I didn't understand it." That's what he said.
You know,
I still don't
that's
understand.
that's sick because like according to the Matrix, there's probably like another dimension that has a version of this movie out there that is actually Will Smith and Sean Connery.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
If you go into dimension theories, there's like always like different versions of our reality, and because that was a possibility at one time, that's now a reality in a different dimension where Sean Connery and Will Smith are in the Matrix, and then Will Smith also did Django.
Okay. I think if Will Smith
if you ever
made
find that
Django,
print, send it my
I think
way.
if Will
I'll go
Smith-
watch that movie.
I think if
I'll
Will
keep
Smith
it
would have
going.
made Django, that
Keep
they would have
looking.
gave him an Oscar for it.
Maybe.
Why? Why him not?
Because Jamie Foxx,
who Jamie Foxx, I think, is one of the greatest actors.
he is,
Maybe.
but Jamie Foxx has already proven himself in movies like that. Any Given Sunday, Ray, Collateral,
Jamie's got the Oscar. He's got
Ali.
one already.
Yeah, he's got an Oscar. Ali. He's made those really dramatic movies. Will Smith doesn't. I mean, he's made
Will
10
Smith got
Pounds,
nominated
Pursuit of
for a few.
Happiness. Yeah, I know, but I think because it's a role that you've never seen him play, I think he would have got at least nominated, probably one.
Was it nominated for anything?
Django, yeah,
Yeah.
won best screenplay,
And Christoph
and Christoph
Waltz.
Waltz won best supporting actor.
Christoph Waltz won 2 Best Supporting Actor movies in a row.
Yep, well, not in a row, just
Or not, I mean, with Tarantino.
Yeah, with Tarantino, yeah.
That's because he good.
Yeah, he
Shall
really
we
is.
rank this movie?
Yeah, unless you have nothing else to say, sure.
That's all I have to say.
What about you,
What,
Jake?
what is don't mistake a child for an angel? What does that mean to
Yeah,
you?
I have no fucking idea.
I
I
don't
feel like
know,
Paul
dude.
Thomas Anderson did a lot of cocaine when he was writing this movie.
There was a lot of weird shit going on in that bar. That's
There's
why I was curious.
definitely some themes of like the
They had
innocence of children that
A
could
lot
be
of shit
explored,
going on
but
in that bar.
I don't know how to explore it.
For them not to be very important.
Do you know that bar is the Foxfire Room on Magnolia Boulevard? Right next
Is that
to
where it was? It looked really familiar. I don't know if I've been to that bar or not, but
yeah, it's called the Foxfire Room.
all right, cool. I knew it was around here somewhere.
Oh, fun fact too. The reason why Paul Thomas Anderson wrote this game show as part of the story is because he was a PA on a game show when he was younger.
That is a fun fact. What game
Yeah,
show?
His dad also was a horror movie kind of game show guy. He did something with where he was like a
horror movie game show.
Yeah, so something it sounds weird, but if
That
you
sounds
Google
sweet.
it, if you
Sounds
Google
awesome.
it, you can find out what I'm talking about.
Horror movie game show.
Yeah, it was weird.
I don't know why I'm writing things down. I don't know where my phone is, so I'm just gonna write it
It's all good.
down.
Anyway, all right, let's rank it.
paper.
Let's rank it.
Horror movie. Show. You rank it. Where do you want it?
I don't know. I gotta look.
All right. I
It's this is gonna be an interesting one.
think I had it in my phone.
What movie are we
But-
talking about?
The movie of the
Little
day.
Monster.
Yeah.
The Magnolia.
The Magnolias.
The Magnolias.
You know Ironman?
I
Oh, you know him personally.
Here's the internet. All right, let's bring this.
Let's see.
shit
It's
up.
definitely above Godfather.
Oh, word.
Oh wait, that's your list.
I am probably. Oh, you're putting it above Godfather?
I was thinking about it.
All right, I know where I'm putting it.
Where are you putting it?
I'll put it at number 4.
Number 4. Big number 4. Above the.
Above The Handmaiden, below Sisters.
Oh wow. Big moves.
This is the thing, man. Like The Godfather's number 1 because of the scope and the magnitude and the director, and this goes number 4 because of those 3 things too.
Yeah, I agree. Scope, magnitude, director. I'd still rather watch this movie than The Godfather. So I'm going to put it at number 12.
Nice.
Right above The Godfather. Right below Harold and Maude, which is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, Harold and Maude is
Yeah.
Harold and Maude and Sunset Boulevard are my 2 favorite movies we watched on this podcast because they're movies I wouldn't have watched before, and I'm glad we did.
I feel like I might watch Sunset Boulevard again
So good.
soon.
I'm also gonna go with the number 12 spot, which is interesting because I'm
Yeah.
right below The Godfather
That's
in
cool.
my ranking.
That's cool.
This is it. This was a hard choice because The Godfather 3 kind of sucks, but the first two are such strong epic movies. It's hard to say.
The Godfather doesn't suck. It's a good movie. It's just not as good as the first two.
I can say it sucks if I want to.
Well,
He
you
can say
suck.
whatever
So
he wants because this is America.
Yeah, we already
Still.
had that podcast, so we're not allowed to talk about that movie anymore.
It's not Fight
We
Club.
have the rules, and those are the rules.
This is
So
Fight
yeah,
Club.
Somebody put me at number 4.
You put yourself at number 4.
You
Oh, I can do that now? All right.
can you? Are you allowed? Don't
You've
let this
been
fucking
able to
guy
be
fuck
allowed.
this list.
I don't know how to do it. Somebody do it.
You guys should do.
I honestly don't know how to do
Calm
it.
down. It'll be fine.
Magnolia. Yeah, man. It was a
Spell it out
weird
there.
movie. It was complicated. There was a lot going on. It was a lot to ingest. First, like especially just the first few minutes, first fucking hour, to be honest. Up until the cop asked the girl out, there was a lot going on. A lot you were introduced to up until that point. And I feel like that's where everything kind of chilled out, was when she said yes to him. And then I feel like the music stopped and everything kind of just was in the groove at that point.
That scene with them at the dinner was pretty great. That was a pretty great scene. That's one of the best scenes in the movie too, when they're just both, like you're saying, like frantically talking to each other like fucking weirdos. That was a great scene.
Yeah, how does a cop not be able to tell this girl's fucking totally
He knew. He just really likes her.
Yeah, I think
but why?
Because
He's a weird motherfucker.
He's been searching
I guess.
high and low.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Ask Paul.
Yeah. SPTA.
Oh, PTA.
Cut him out, dude. Cut the cop out of this whole.
No way, dude. No way.
That was one of the
Jack
best
Sparrow, one of the
characters.
best.
Him and Tom Cruise were the best
Got him.
characters.
Caught him, dude. All right, you're right. That's stupid.
All right. That was fun. That was a good one. That was a long one. It was over an hour.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, you guys should, keep watching PT Anderson movies, and
I've seen them all.
fuck yeah.
Shout out to the Big Cat. Anthony's pretending like he's frozen.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Making Me Watch Movies. That was episode 58, which means episode 59 is coming up. And on episode 60, I'm pretty sure Jake's going to have some kind of wild, algorithmically structured movie list that Schwartz is going to talk a lot of shit on. But that's neither here nor there. Next week's movie is a movie Schwartz has been wanting me to watch for a long, long time. It is a movie by Spike Jonze. It stars Nicolas Cage, and it is called Adaptation. Watch that wherever you can find it. Listen to us everywhere you get podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and come in with the milk.